Next game, super obscure game, and I will have to actually read the title just to tell you about it. Kinuku Banzuke Volume 1. It's a Konami sports game based on a Japanese television show. I think it airs on G4 these days. It's basically it's like a Japanese strongman competition, and the game is mini game based. So you have a game where you're trying to throw baseballs at certain areas, and another you're trying to use a giant hammer to hit pieces of wood. There's a pool shooting competition. The mini games are very strange. Just like many Japanese game shows, the ideas behind some of these mini games are beyond my comprehension. I don't know who came up with them, but it's interesting. It's from Konami, so it's the quality's not going to be too horrible. The graphics are decent enough for PlayStation 1, and the mini games I think are fun with 2 players. And there's actually there's a fake camera that records your failures or your successes and makes it very dramatic in the game if you fail or succeed. So this game is not bad. I picked it up for about $10. Apparently there was a series of these that I was completely unaware of. That were on PS1, PS2, and Game Boy Advance, I believe. So the third one is I believe called Road to Sasuke, which is Sasuke's ninja in Japanese. So Road to Becoming a Ninja Warrior, I believe, is the subtitle. And if you want to pick up this game, you actually get to build up a character and dress them any way you want and train them to become like an ultimate warrior for this game show. So if you have a chance, I think the third volume of this series sounds really interesting. But I picked up the first volume not knowing what I was getting, and it was a nice surprise. Maybe an interesting 2-player game. I would say it's one of the more obscure games I've found randomly here in the electronic market. So if you have a chance, maybe you should pick this game up. I wouldn't suggest that you try to find it at a price higher than $15. I don't think it's worth more than that. So also, it's worth noting, I don't think this game is I don't think it's on the PSN store. Along with Night Striker, I don't believe it's on the PSN store in Japan either. And Guitar Freaks is not on the PSN Japanese store. So these are all games you have to actually have a hard disk of to actually play these days. And the last game is probably the most awesome game I picked up. Hokuto no Ken, Fist of the North Star. Its subtitle is Sekimiksukuyu Sei Yundinsetsu. I'm not exactly sure what that translates to, but it might as well translate to being super badass, because it is. This game is probably the only Fist of the North Star game I played besides the one from a few years back from Arc System Works, the 2D fighter that played similar to Guilty Gear. That's actually worth a damn, because most of the Fist of the North Star games are horrible games. The history of these games is usually questionable gameplay, and maybe they rank as kusoge in Japan. I'm not really entirely sure, but I know that I don't like them. I've played many of them, and this is probably one of the best Hokuto no Ken or Fist of the North Star games I've played. The graphics are really great for PS1. It follows the manga very accurately. You go from the beginning of the series to the defeat of Rao, the Conqueror, and Rao's defeat is probably the end of the best arc in the Hokuto no Ken series, because afterwards things get a little wacky. Suddenly they have to travel to another island, and there's more strong guys, and Rao's brother's there. I think it's shit, but that's my opinion. But anyway, the game that I'm talking about, it has a lot of great violence. If you really like violence in your Fist of the North Star games, which is really one of the main highlights of the show, you should check this game out. Also, I think Kenshiro, his attacks are well represented in this game. It's a beat 'em up basically. I mean, Streets of Rage style. And then there's long cutscenes that follow the story very accurately. One of the cons I would say though is that you can't skip these cutscenes, and the levels can be very long, so you don't get to save sometimes for like up to an hour. So you need to have a lot of time if you sit down to play this game. Save points are few and far between. And also, it can get a little repetitive, so don't play the game. Don't try to play the game in one long sitting; you'll get really bored. But in short bursts, the game's really awesome. Graphics are great, and it really follows the series well. So if you get a chance, pick this game up. I think it's quite rare. I had to pay a lot of money for this one, so this was not a cheap game. It was about $50. So this is one of the more rare PS1 games that I have. And I think it's worth buying if you're a fan of the series, but if you're not a fan of the series, it may be a little too high of a price to pay to obtain this game. So anyway, that's all for this video, and I'm going to show you one clip of the PSOne North Star game that I picked up, and it's the opening recreated for the PS1 game. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Let's